Hi everyone and welcome back. My name is Kit and today is Sunday, January 26, 2020. So as you can see, I have finished that cowl that I wanted to make with the yarn that I dyed last week. So this is that cowl. Now I used a V-stitch that I crocheted in the round and I used a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. So this is using that wool of the Andes. It's a sport weight yarn with 274 yards. Now I originally wanted to crochet a scarf, but because there are only 274 yards in this hank, I felt like there wasn't enough yardage to make a scarf, so therefore I made this cowl. Now the cowl turned out really pretty. So the only problem I have with this is that it's very, very itchy. So right now I can feel the fibers poking through my shirt and around my chin and my neck. It's very itchy right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it off and show you guys. But the pattern, I didn't follow a pattern, I kind of winged it. And this is the way it looks. And it's very pretty and I love the colors and the gradient. But like I said, it's very itchy. So what I wanna do is I wanna buy some wool wash and I will wash it up one more time and see if it'll soften up the yarn any. But when you feel the yarn with your fingers, it's not as rough, but when you put it around your neck where your skin is delicate, that's where I can feel how rough this yarn is. But I will buy that wool wash and I will wash it up and try to soften up this yarn. But other than that, it turned out really pretty. What do you guys think of that? What I want to do in the future, maybe towards the middle or end of this year, is I want to go ahead and order more yarn from Knit Picks. Maybe a different kind of yarn, maybe not the wool of the Andes, but I want to try maybe using 100% superwash merino, or maybe a merino and some other blend of yarn, maybe something with nylon. And I want to try it again, try to replicate this colorway and see if I can buy yarn that's a little bit softer than this one to dye up again. So that is a future project that I want to work on. So another finished object I have is the sweater that I have crocheted for Madison. It is complete, so there's what it looks like, and it's very nice. She loves it, and I asked if she wanted to come up here and try it on to show you guys, and she said no. So she wore it all night last night and this morning, and she loves it. So it turned out really nice. The only thing I didn't do was add pockets like I wanted to. So I have plenty of yarn to add pockets if she wants pockets. If not, I'm just gonna leave it like it is and call it finished. And it turned out really nice. Now I did not follow a pattern. I kind of winged it and just did what I thought looked good. So the sleeves I crocheted in the round. So after I finished the body of the sweater, I just crocheted the sleeves in the round and decreased up until the wrist area. And that's what it looks like. So very pretty. She likes it. It turned out nice. Now I also have this blanket that I don't think I've ever shown you guys, but I was working on it months ago, I think maybe like 6 months ago, and I have not completed it. This is what it looks like. This is using Premier yarns. It's sweet roll cakes. I think it's a sweet roll sprinkles, and I used 3 cakes, and this is what it looks like right now. So what I was thinking of is I want to frog this and use the yarn for something else. I can definitely buy more yarn, but I'm trying to not buy any more yarn for a while. So I don't know if I should frog it and use the yarn for something else, or just wait until I'm off my yarn ban and order some yarn from Premier and finish off this blanket. Now with this stitch, I think it's using the shell stitch. It uses a lot of yarn. So this is the result of 3 cakes. So to finish this blanket to the size I want, I probably need like 5 more cakes to finish it. But I think I might hold off and order the yarn probably in June or July and then finish off the blanket by the end of the year. But we'll see. I might change my mind and just frog it and use the yarn for something else. So let's talk a little bit about knitting. So I want to do knitting tutorials, and I will do them. I want to show future knitters and beginner knitters like myself how to cast on, how to knit, how to purl, how to work up the stockinette stitch, and how to cast off. So I will be doing a series of beginner knitter tutorials. So if you're already an experienced knitter, or you're a crocheter and you're not interested in knitting, you don't have to watch the videos, but I want to do these videos for future knitters and beginner knitters that might not know how to purl or might not know how to cast off. So if it's something you're interested, feel free to watch it. If you're not interested, don't worry about watching it. You won't hurt my feelings. But I want to do these videos, the crochet and knitting beginner tutorials, because I have friends and family members who want to learn how to knit or crochet and they need some guidance. So I always tell them, just refer to my videos. So I have a friend who came over 2 weeks ago and she wanted to learn how to crochet or knit. So I showed her what the differences were and she chose crochet. So we spent a good 5 hours. I was teaching her how to chain and how to hold her yarn and her needle, and we went over the different types of yarn there are out there, and she seems to like it. So I was teaching her for a good 5 hours on how to crochet. So the only thing she learned within that 5 hours was how to chain and how to single crochet. So the other day she was like, well, I don't know how to work up in crochet. So I showed her initially that after you finish your row, you turn your work and then you start over again. So she couldn't figure out how to turn her work. So I just told her, just refer back to my beginner crochet tutorials. And she did, and I think she figured it out. So that's the reason why I want to do these tutorials for future crocheters and knitters. And hopefully it'll help them out. So like I said, if you guys are not interested in watching it, don't worry about watching it. You don't have to. But if you want to support me, then go ahead and do so. I'd really appreciate that. So I have been working on this shawl pattern, and it's a knitted shawl pattern. So I'm calling on all knitters right now because I need some help. So as you guys know, I haven't been knitting long. I think it's been about 3 months. And the projects that I have been working on are just super simple, easy projects, like knitting a blanket and the garter stitch. So that's simple. And to me, that's mindless knitting. So I can just watch TV and knit. But I am working on this shawl pattern. And I don't have that shawl to show you because I got so frustrated I threw it out. But this is called the Textured Triangle Shawl. And this is a free pattern on yarnspiration.com. And if you look on YouTube, Marley Bird does a tutorial on this. So what I did was I watched her tutorials and I said, you know what, I can do this. So I printed out the pattern. Now, I did the garter tab startup, fine. The setup rows, fine. Section 1, fine. Section 2, I did rows 33 through 36, no problem. Now when I got to row 37, that's when I encountered the problem. So row 37 says to knit 2, purl 1, and then in brackets it has yarn over and purl 2 together to the marker. So after I yarn over, I tried to purl 2 together. Now, when I tried to pick up the 2 stitches to purl 2 together, I could not, for the life of me, get my knitting needle through both stitches to purl the 2 together. So I don't know if it's because I'm a new knitter and my tension was too tight, or maybe I was using a smaller yarn than what the pattern called for. Now, for that shawl, I was using Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek DK. Now this is classified as a number 3 weight, but I think it's more of like a sport weight because it's really thin. And I was using this the US size 6.4 mm knitting needles, circular knitting needles to knit this shawl. But the pattern calls for Red Heart Soft Essential, which I think is a bulky number 5. Now what I wanted was like a lightweight shawlette instead of the big bulky shawl. So I was gonna work up this whole pattern and just turn that shawl into a shawlette. So I encountered that problem with the Purl Two Together where I could not get my needles underneath both stitches to purl the two together. So if you guys have any ideas what I'm doing wrong, like just give me some pointers. Maybe I'm holding my yarn too tightly, or maybe I don't know, maybe my stitches are too tight on my needles that I can't get my right hand needle underneath the two stitches to purl two together. So what I did was I scrapped that part of the shawl and I walked away for about 2 hours, and then I went back and tried again all over from the beginning. So I tried it again, and then when I got to the part where it says purl two together, I could not do it. So I scrapped that shawl, and then I walked away and I said, you know what, I'm done with this shawl for now. I'm not a quitter, so I will go back and try again. So I'm gonna give myself a week to calm down, and I will go back to this pattern, start from the beginning, and try that purl two together one more time. So hopefully that works out. But if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. Or if you know what I'm doing wrong, please let me know. Like I said, I think it's just my tension is too tight. So when I go to insert my needle to pick up the two stitches, my needle will not go underneath the two stitches to pick up the two stitches to purl the two together. So let me know what you guys think. So after that one, I said, you know what, let me look online to see if I can find another pattern, a simple pattern to try to knit. So my goal this year is to knit a shawl, and that's why I've been looking up shawl patterns. So I found this shawl pattern. It's a rectangular shawl, and I got this pattern from lovecrafts.com, and it's a free pattern. So I'm pretty sure I can share with you guys the pattern. So it's a rectangular shawl, so I'm knitting in the row. So row 1 says to knit, row 2 purl, and then row 3, here we go again, purl two together. So when I went to go purl the two together, again, I could not get my right hand needle underneath the two stitches to purl two together. And when I did, I grabbed the third stitch, and then I split my yarn, and then I dropped my stitch. So I said, I kept trying, and I kept trying. So I finished that whole entire row. I turned my work, I knit the 2 rows, and I purled. And then I go back to purl 3 or purl 2 together. And now I'm looking at my pattern. So I've worked up about 20 rows, and I will show you the picture in the front. As you can see, it's a chevron pattern. So all the lacy parts are supposed to be lined up, but mine were not lined up. Some of my lacy parts were more to the left, and then some were to the right. So I'm like, I don't know what I am doing wrong. So I just snipped that yarn and I tossed my work. Like I said, I should have kept my work to show you guys what I did, but I was frustrated, and that was just this morning. So I tossed it and I said, I am done with both these shawls for now, and I will go back and try again. So next time I will take my time. And I was taking my time because it took about 3 hours to work up like 16 rows for this shawl pattern. But I will take it super duper slow and try again. So I will put this on the back burner for now, and I will go back to it. But if any of you knitters have any suggestions, please let me know, please. I'd really appreciate that. But that's it, you guys. I don't have too much. I just wanted to share with you my progress. And I do have finished objects. And I am actually going to dig out my whip box right now and dig through that and see what I can finish up real quick and try to get some projects out of my whip box, because I do want to start more whips. Just this knitting is frustrating, but I will get there eventually. So I will keep trying until I get it right. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. and I will see you all in the next video. So have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you next time. So bye.